Okay, hello everyone. Can you hear me okay? Perhaps someone could give me a thumbs up. Okay, I'm seeing lots of lovely faces here that I know. Hello, Anne. Give me a wave. I can see you on the screen. Hello, Svenja. Hello, Esther. Um, and Sheila, can you see me? Just so you know, Sheila is my mum. So I'm being supported by my mum today, which makes me really thrilled. So Phil's just messaged. You are very welcome to have your camera on, Phil, but it's not necessary. If you would rather have your camera off, that is absolutely fine. As long as you can see me. I like being able to see people because then I can kind of connect with people a little bit better. You know, I can see how you're breathing, for instance, but not everyone is going to be able to have their camera on all the time. You know, I completely understand. You can do this from the bath if you want to. That's fine. So welcome to Breathwork for Lung Health. My name is Ben. I am Breathing Space, School of Breathwork, which I started a couple of years ago, and I run courses and retreats and workshops in breathwork. And this course came about recently, just last week really, when I realized that we're all going to be self-isolating. We're all going to be locked down. And there's a lot of stuff in the news about stopping getting COVID, about how to prevent us getting it. But I started to think, well, what happens if we do? Now I'm a breathwork practitioner. I teach a lot of breathwork exercises. And although I don't want to make any claims that this is going to protect you from COVID, this is going to help you get through COVID, in my mind, it cannot do any harm in strengthening and exercising and preparing our lungs. Okay? I just can't see how doing more breathwork can possibly, at least it can't do any harm. Now, I know from my own experience as a lifelong asthmatic, from the time that I was very young to the time about 2 years ago, that breathwork I'm almost completely cured from asthma now. Now, there isn't one particular exercise that has helped me, but I think it's just a combination of all the different breathing that I do. And really, it's just being conscious of my breathing, about being aware and doing breathwork techniques, a lot of different breathwork techniques all the time, every day. So I developed this course, and it's really simple. The Rizuku course, which if you haven't joined yet, I'll put the links out later. It's 3 or 4 exercises, and there's space for people to contribute their own exercises. Now, I know probably about 30 or 40 different breath techniques, but I know that there's over 100 different techniques that people have. And everyone who teaches breathwork will have their own spin, will have their own take on how to teach breathwork. And that means there's going to be hundreds of different breathworks coming in. So hello, everyone. I can see more people joining us. Lovely to have you here. Dawn and Svenja and Tammy and Vanessa. I'm just saying about how this program started. So I created 3 or 4 techniques. I put them up on an online course, and I've invited people to collaborate on that course. It's a free course, by the way. Collaborate and submit your own videos and your own techniques for breathwork for lung health. And that's what this seminar is going to be about. So I'm going to teach you 2 or 3 or 4 different breath techniques that I know that are good for that have helped me. And then I'll open up the floor as well to see if anyone else out there has got some breath techniques that might help as well. And if no one has, that's absolutely fine as well. I have got dozens and dozens of techniques that I can show you and share with you, and we can practice and have some fun with as well. Breathwork, along with many of these wellness activities like meditation and yoga, can be really serious, and I don't like things to be serious. I like to bring some lightness and some fun and some humor to this as well. So that's it. That's an introduction about me. an introduction about this course. Now, if it's okay, what I'm going to do is whenever I start a seminar, I like to kind of bring us all in together and to kind of connect us all. And the easiest, quickest way I have found to do this is with breath. So I'm going to unmute everyone and we're going to take 3 breaths together. Now, as you do that, I want you to really look at all the people. If you can get it onto gallery view, great. If not, put it on just speaker view and just connect with me or whoever comes up on your screen, and really try and feel them as you breathe. Okay, and that will then lead on to our first exercise together. So, we ready? 3 deep breaths, everyone. No particular style, it can be through the mouth or through the nose, but really try and connect with everyone else in the room with us. Okay, let's go. We're unmuted. Let's take 3 breaths together. Thank you, everyone. I hope you feel a bit more connected and a bit more present now. That always does for me. And our first exercise is a connection exercise, an exercise not necessarily to do with lung health, but it's to do with overall well-being. Now, one of the things I really firmly believe is we need more real connection in our lives. Not just conversations with people, but properly feeling, connecting with people. Because we don't do that enough, and we haven't done this enough for a long time, not just before this last week when we're all kind of going into isolation, but how often do we have really meaningful, deep conversations with people, or not even conversations, just presence with people? So when I start a seminar, I always ask for a check-in. How are you feeling right now? Because when we make ourselves a little bit vulnerable, when we speak our truth from our heart, then we can really start to connect and we can really be in presence with people. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just to close your eyes and go inside. How are you feeling right now? How are you really feeling? And everything is welcome here. Every range of human emotion and experience is welcome. Not just the positive things, but the true expressions of how we're feeling. And if you can sum that up in one word, what would that word be? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask people to unmute themselves, or I'll unmute them and share that word. And then we'll take a breath with that to really feel that energy as well. Okay? So this is a connection exercise for well-being. So I'm going to start with Anne. Welcome, Anne.
Hello.
How are you feeling right now?
Utter dread.
Dread.
Yeah.
Dread.
Yeah.
Let's all feel that and take a breath with that. Thank you, Anne, for bringing that in. Svenja, you're up on my screen next.
Hello. I feel calm.
Calm. Let's all just feel Svenja's calm by taking a breath together. Thank you, Svenja, for bringing in calm. Esther, you're on my screen next. Lovely to see you calling in from Hungary, I know. What's your word?
Hi, Ben. Hi, everyone. My feeling is overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Let's all breathe in that feeling of overwhelm. Thank you, Esther, for bringing that in. Phil, lovely to see you calling in from the north of England. What are you bringing to today's seminar?
So I'm feeling nervous.
Nervous. Yeah. Let's all feel that with Phil. Thank you, Phil. Dawn, lovely to have you here, Dawn. Dawn's one of my trainee facilitators, by the way, so it's great to have her support here. What's your word, Dawn?
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty. Let's breathe that in. Thank you, Dawn. Hi, Vanessa. You're up next. What's your word that you'd like to bring?
Right now I feel connected, which is great.
Connected. Can I ask you, what does being connected feel like? If there's a place in your body where you could feel it, where do you feel it?
There.
In your
My
chest.
heart.
In your heart. Okay. Let's maybe place a hand on our heart and let's breathe in being connected. Thank you for bringing in connection, Vanessa. Karen, lovely to have you here again. Thank you for returning. What's your word?
Scattered.
Guesses?
No, scattered.
Scattered.
Yeah.
Okay, and is there a place in your body that you feel that?
Yeah, in my solar plexus.
In your solar plexus. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's all maybe place a hand on our solar plexus and feel that scattered feeling. Thank you, Karen. Okay, next up, Sheila, which if you didn't catch earlier, Sheila is my mum, who's joining us from Brighton this
say that, Ben.
Lovely to have you here, Mum, and I really feel honoured and privileged to have you here as well. So what's your word and where do you feel that?
Interested.
Interested.
Here, on my head.
Interested. Okay, I'm going to put two hands on. Let's take a breath with feeling interested. Thank you. Fiona, and by all means keep yourself the video off, but what are you feeling and where do you feel it?
On, actually. So can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, hi. I'm feeling sensitive and I feel that in my torso, like chest and shoulders.
Feeling sensitive in your torso, in your chest and shoulders.
Yeah.
Let's take a breath with that. Thank you, Fiona. And Tammy.
Yes.
What do you feel and where do you feel it?
I'm actually feeling peaceful and feeling it in my heart.
Okay, was that peaceful?
Yes.
Great. Let's welcome that in with a breath. Thank you for bringing peaceful in, Tammy. Nwala, can you unmute yourself?
Hi.
Hi, Nwala.
Hi, good to be here. Excited.
Excited. Okay, and where do you feel that in your body?
Solar plexus, heart and chest.
Solar plexus, heart and chest. Let's breathe in some excitement. Beautiful. And Christina, calling in from Portugal, I believe.
I'm feeling tired and mostly in my shoulders.
I couldn't quite hear that, Christina. Could you speak a little louder?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Yeah. I'm feeling tired and mostly in my shoulders.
Tired in shoulders. Definitely know that feeling. Let's have a breath with that. Yeah. Thank you, Christina. So, now I always start my seminars with a check-in, even if it's just a simple one, to acknowledge, to respect, to honor everyone's energy here, and to start building connection. And I think really when we start building connection, when we start being able to like really feel each other, that can also only help our well-being. Even if it's just for a short while, not trying to deny those emotions that we feel, like the overwhelm or the anxiety or the nervousness or the scatter, not just trying to pretend to be positive, but to acknowledge them, to feel them fully, and then maybe we can let them go once they've done that. So that's the first exercise. Now, before we move on to some proper breathwork exercises, quite often I'll just do something to kind of shake the energy up, to kind of just break things up a bit. So let's just give ourselves a shake, maybe throw in our hands, and maybe go in a... Now the microphone's off, so no one can hear you, but let's go. There we go. Great shaking, everyone. And thank you for committing to that. I do like to be a bit silly sometimes. For those of you that don't know, I was a teacher for many years, a high school teacher, and best thing I could ever learn teaching kids is do something silly with them. You know, if you're serious all the time, nothing goes in. So what I might do is also ask people in the group, whilst we're doing some breath work, if anyone else has got a silly little thing that they'd like to do, or a little breath work, something to change the energy up as well. So if you don't want to be asked, I won't force anyone to do anything, by the way. So, but I like to open things up. Oh yeah, Dawn. That's one from Dawn. We can do all that to everyone. Bringing your inner child out there, Dawn. Lovely. Okay, so the first exercise in our breathwork for lung health, this is something called a lung stretch. Now, I was taught this by my teacher, Anthony of Alchemy of Breath, when I was doing my training, and I use it before I do any conscious breath work. So in a workshop, I will always do this exercise. I don't always do it online because we don't have enough time to do it online, but when I am doing it live on retreat, this is something that I will always do. So it's a really simple one. I really recommend doing this one sitting down or lying down, because it involves breath holds, which can make you a little bit dizzy. And with all these breath exercises, it's really important that you go to a depth and at a speed that is comfortable for you. We have to take responsibility for our own breath work. Obviously, I'm not there with you present, so I can't really keep you safe physically. So we just have to take our own authority and sovereignty into any breathwork practice. So go as deep and as quick as you feel comfortable with. So this is a lung stretch. And what it is, we take a breath through our nose, fill up our lungs completely. We hold it for 3 seconds. We then take a sip more air. We hold for 3 seconds. We take one sip more, hold it for 3 seconds, and then we exhale through the mouth. Okay? So it's a really simple one. So I can demonstrate it, but we might as well just go straight and do it together. So just give yourself a little shake. Okay? So exhale fully. Then inhale through the nose until you are full. and then hold. 1, 2, 3. Take a sip more. 1, 2, 3. Take a sip more. Then exhale. And we'll repeat that twice more. Inhale through the nose till you're full. Hold. Take a sip more. Sip more. And then exhale. And one more time. Inhale through the nose. Sip more. Sip more. Hold it for a bit longer. Maybe a sip more. And then exhale. Just give yourself a quick shake to come back. You can also tap is another good way to kind of close for a breath work. So that's a lung stretch, and it does two things. First of all, it kind of increases the capacity of your lungs, which it's a soft tissue, so it's not quite like a muscle. But the more you kind of stretch it and elastic, the capacity does increase over time, but it also increases elasticity of the lungs, so it can stretch a bit more and relax a little bit more. Any questions around that exercise before we move on? And it's fine. I can't promise I'll know all the answers, but you know, we can try. The reason we breathe through our nose is because I found out a few months ago that the more resistance that we give to the air as it comes into our body, the greater the capacity that our lungs get. So, for instance, if you open your mouth and fill up your lungs through your mouth, you fill up really quickly. But actually, or it feels like you fill up quickly, but if you breathe through your nose slowly, more gently, your lungs will expand to a greater capacity. So that's why we breathe in through our nose to increase the resistance, which then increases the overall capacity of our lungs to expand. Okay. So that's the first exercise, a lung stretch. Now, when can you do this? When do you do this? Well, as often as possible is really the answer. But once in the morning, maybe when you wake up, you know, maybe once before you go to bed. I often do this exercise before other exercises. So before I go for a run or a jog or, you know, working out or something. It's also a good way to just transition to a different activity. So if you're doing another kind of breath work, for instance, or you're doing a meditation, any kind of breath work is good to just kind of focus. But once in the morning, maybe once in the evening, and if you're about to do another exercise, great one to try. Variations on this exercise are not just stretching with your capacity. You can also stretch with emptying, which kind of brings us on to the next exercise. But we can kind of in fact, let's just try a lung stretch emptying, which will go exactly the same way except in reverse. So inhale fully through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Till you're completely empty. Pause. 1, 2. Exhale a bit more. 1, 2, 3. Bit more. 1, 2, 3. And then inhale through your nose. Okay, so again, a variation of kind of not collapsing your lungs, but stretching them in a different way as well. Okay, which kind of brings us on to our second exercise, which is a lung emptying exercise. Now, in fact, Mum. I was quite a sickly child, and I had a lot of lung problems. And when I was really young, it was before the kind of time of Ventolin and inhalers. Mum, I hope you don't mind me putting you on the spot here, but seeing as you're here, let's give a little bit of colour. Can you tell everyone a little bit about what I was like as a child with some of my lung problems, and what you kind of the things that you did to help me?
Well, cold air at school, being out on the playground was always a problem. Always remember one time when you were brought up to me in the pharmacy, pretty well breathless. So we had to sit you on a chair facing the back of it, so that expanded your lungs and just let you sit there. The other thing we did was get you to breathe into a paper bag for 2 or 3 times. Quite frightening, because you were very white, which you weren't normally. So those were a couple of things that we had to do with you that I can remember.
I have no memory of those 2 things actually, but
I don't suppose you were quite small.
And I can see from Phil here, cold air exercise has been an issue for Phil as well, so it's not uncommon. The things I remember that we did, Mum, was we used to go into the bathroom and you used to boil kettles.
Well, yes, or run the hot tap.
Or run the hot tap, and I used to sit in hot humid air, and then camphor and Vicks. Whenever I smell those 2 things now, I have a it takes me right back
flashback
into when I was a child.
Don't think you can get camphor now.
No, I don't think you can. Just Vicks or eucalyptus oil. Of Olbas oil was something that I remember as well. So whenever I was ill, and not just asthma, but whenever I would get cold, I would have a chest infection, and my lungs would just fill up. And that is the same in my 20s and in my 30s. The cold, it would go straight to my chest, and my chest would like clog up with phlegm and mucus, and I'd be coughing up green stuff for weeks. And it always took a long time to shift. Now, the next exercise that we've got is a lung clearing exercise. And this is something that my wife taught me. But really, it's a variation. There are various variations on this. There are yogic variations as well. And it's to help clear fluid from your lungs, but also help circulate stale air as well. Now, if you've got very sensitive lungs, if they're really irritated, for instance, you have to be very gentle with this, because it can cause a bit more irritation as you start to clear the fluid from your lungs. So this is one to go very gently with, and not to do too forcefully if you're feeling very delicate in the lungs, or if you're really congested, you have to wait until your lungs start to clear. So it looks a little bit like this. It looks a bit like the lungs stretching, but on the empty. So we inhale fully, exhale fully, and then cover our mouth and cough. Whilst empty. So that's it really. It's using your diaphragm muscles to really jolt your diaphragm and help clear your lung sacs and your alveoli to free them of fluid, but also it has the knock-on effect of circulating the air in your lungs that have been there for a while. Another version of this is a yogic technique is breath of fire, which is where you sharply contract your abdominal muscles. So you inhale fully, and maybe take your right hand and put it on your belly. So inhale fully, exhale fully, and then sharply contract your, and we do that 10 times. 8, 10, exhale a little bit more. Okay, so 2 variations on that. So exhaling fully and coughing into your elbow. But then we'll do the Kapalabhati breath of fire twice more. Actually, we'll do it once more, and then I'm going to introduce an extension onto that one, which is going to be a bit silly. So we'll do the, instead of coughing, we'll do the stomach diaphragm, or if you want to do the coughing, that's fine. It kind of achieves the same kind of the action. So inhale fully through the nose. Exhale fully. And when you're empty, we'll do 10 contractions of the abdominal muscles to help force the air out. So and inhale. Okay. So now here comes the silly bit. Has anyone heard of lion's breath before? Svenja, I can see you nodding. How do you feel about demonstrating lion's breath for us?
Not particularly well, but I can do it, yeah.
Sure.
So basically it's like breathing in very deeply through your nose, and then when letting go of the breath, you stick out your tongue, you roll your eyes up, and it looks a little bit like so you get the air right out of your throat, so you make a really funny noise. That's fine.
Well done, Svenja. Amazing. Now we're going to combine that. So it's sticking your tongue out and rolling your eyes up to kind of focus at your middle of your forehead. So, and you do that as you exhale fully. And then you go into the Kapalabhati breath of fire where you contract your abdominal muscles, and we'll do that 10 times. Okay, so we'll take an inhale, and then on the exhale, we'll do lion's breath with that silly expression. And then we'll do 10 contractions fully. Now, my yoga teacher when I was in Exeter, Fran from Derek the dog, used to do this, and it was she used to do it so ferociously, it was like she was vomiting up air. So you can really go to town with this as well, if you want to, okay? But do just take it gently, or to a place that is right for you. And if you don't want to do the lion's breath, that's fine. But if you're doing it, you won't, and no one else will be able to see you because they'll be doing it as well. Okay? So inhale fully. Tongue out, roll your eyes. Then 10 Kapalabhatis if you can. And then just close your eyes and give yourself a bit of a grounding. Amazing. Anne, I love seeing your smile there. Great. So 2 techniques there, lung stretching and then lung emptying, and different variations on both of those. Okay, before we transition to another activity, does anyone have a silly little thing that they would like to do, or bring a silly little breath for us? Okay, let's do something then. Let's all go. Shouldn't do this now because this may be a bit racist for cowboys and Indians, but beautiful. Okay, I'm going to open up the floor now and see if there is anyone who has got a breath technique that they would like to share. And if no one has, that's absolutely fine. I've got dozens that we can practice that are all good for lung health. But is there anyone who would like to share a breath technique? No matter how common, how esoteric, how obscure, how odd, how well known, anything is welcome here. Would anyone have anything that they would like to share? Dawn, let's unmute you. What's your technique?
It's 2 breaths, So you're breathing, you've got your hand on your tummy, no, well, you can't see my tummy, but, and your hand on your heart, and you're breathing into the belly and the heart. So it's, so,
Beautiful. So through the mouth.
so you're breathing into the belly, breathing in, yeah, so you're breathing through the mouth into the belly, so the belly's coming out, and then up into the heart center. So, and then breathing out. Long
Okay, how many times
exhale.
do we do that round?
10 times.
Okay, would you like to lead us in this then?
Yes, I would. So give your tummy a nice little rub. Feel that warm feeling in the tummy. And you can do both of those together. I'm just making this up at the moment, this bit, but it feels good. Okay.
That's what I do all the time, Dawn.
Yeah, I learned from you. So hand on the belly. So it's belly, and the belly goes out. Long exhale, pulling the belly in. 10 times. The second, pulling the belly in. So that's 5. Make a lovely sigh. Long exhale. One more deep breath.
Amazing. Thank you, Dawn. Let's give Dawn a bit of a wave to show our appreciation. Thank you, Dawn. It does take a bit of, stepping into the unknown to present breathwork and to stand up online and do this, especially when you can't see anyone. So I've got to really acknowledge, thank you, Dawn, for stepping up. Although I wouldn't expect anything else, you being a breathwork facilitator yourself now. I was going to nominate you, by the way, if you hadn't have stepped up. Okay, next technique isn't so much as a technique, it's an awareness, and it's really simple. We have 2 ways of breathing, in through our mouth and in through our nose. And all the time I catch myself breathing in through my mouth, just generally. Our nose is designed to be breathed through. There is so much apparatus inside our nose to help clean, help filter, help humidify, help sterilize the air as it comes into our lungs. So it's really, it really is just breathing in through our nose. Now, hang on, let me just see if I can find a picture for you, because I've got something I want to show you. Now, if you're really keen on this, I don't think I've got a picture, and unfortunately, I don't have my tape with me. But one thing that I've started doing is I've started taping my mouth shut at night. I've got some micropore tape, just from a pharmacy, so not sellotape. I mean, you can do it with sellotape, or you can do it with gaffer tape. You can do it with anything really. And I tape my mouth shut at night. And it's a bit strange at first, but I found that it really helps my sleep throughout the night. I don't get so much as a dry throat. One of my trainee facilitators, Esther, she was the one that kickstarted all this on our facilitator training. And she said, at first your partner will laugh at you, but then they will want to do it as well when they see what a good night's sleep you're doing. Now, you don't have to do that, but the other thing actually I started doing is exercising. when I'm exercising, especially say if I'm jogging or doing some cardio exercise where my blood pace is rising, my natural reaction, everyone's natural reaction, is to bring in more oxygen by opening their mouth and panting more. Now, I read a book a year or two ago called The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McCowan, and I'll type that in down there, which is all about the physiology of breathing. And the biochemistry can be a bit complicated. If you're really nerdy, you can go into it, but it's something called the Bohr effect, which basically says the more carbon dioxide you have in your blood, the more oxygen you can carry. Now, when we exhale, primarily we're blowing off carbon dioxide. So if we limit that by breathing through our nose, if we keep more oxygen in our blood, we are actually able to carry more oxygen to our cells as well. So by keeping our mouth shut, not only are we engaging our nose and all the apparatus in that, but we're also letting our body tolerate, or we're teaching our body to tolerate more carbon dioxide in our blood. It's actually, we're starting to let our blood become slightly more acidic, which means it can carry more oxygen. So if you want to know the biochemistry, The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McCowan is the book to read. And I don't want to go too much into the nerdy science of it. But there's different ways to practice this. First of all, just being aware of how you're breathing. Now, Patrick McCowan says things like eating junk food, salty food, is one of the physiological reasons we open our mouths too much to breathe. But also, it's related to emotional states. When we're kind of triggered emotionally, fight or flight, we pant a lot more. So, bringing awareness to how we're breathing is the easiest cure to that. Just watch yourself breathing. Now, if you can, when you're exercising, try it with your mouth closed. The health benefits are incredible. It takes a while to get used to, and it's not easy because you won't be able to exercise as much as you were before with your mouth open and bringing air in. It's really remarkable. But I started jogging about a month ago, and I thought, I'm going to do this properly. Like, I teach breathwork, I better prove it on myself first. So I started doing it with my mouth closed, and I could run maybe for about 3 or 4 minutes with my mouth closed before I had to stop. Whereas before I could do 10 minutes. However, after 2 or 3 weeks of doing it, I found I can go way much further now. And I can go further than I could if I opened my mouth and breathed. So it's just something to try out. If you want to try it with your mouth taped, closed at night, or whilst you're out jogging, by all means do. It's also, by the way, exercising with your mouth closed is really good for clearing the sinuses as well. Obviously, we have to be, really mindful of how we clear our sinuses at the moment. No sportsman's hankies out there, but it is a really good way for helping clear congestion as well, because your body just naturally gets rid of it. So, any questions about nostril breathing, the third technique in the course? Okay, would anyone else like to give us something silly little to break us up before we move on to another technique? Hold your hands out like this. Put your thumbs in your ear. Go. And go. Great. Okay, someone else can do something silly last time. Okay, that was my third technique. Does anyone else have a technique that they would like to share with the group that might help bring consciousness, a stretch to lung health? Who else might like to offer something? Esther. Now, Esther, I know, is a breathwork facilitator as well, training with Alchemy of Breath, who I highly recommend. They do breathwork sessions every Sunday. Esther, tell us about your breath technique.
Hi, actually it's not my breath technique, but it's what Anthony demonstrated to us on our facilitator training. And this technique can also be read in Tim Brulé's Just Breathe book.
Yeah, which is another great book on breathwork.
Yeah, and it's compulsory for our training, actually. The technique is very simple. The key is that your exhale is longer than your inhale. This is also called the 4-8 technique, because when we start it, we do it like this. We inhale for a count of 4, like this. Let's do it, and I will. Or how? Shall I demonstrate it first?
Demonstrate it once, and then we'll do it together.
Okay. So first, for a count of 4, we inhale. We can do it either through the nose or the mouth. And then exhale for the count of 8. And then actually we can continue doing this, or there is a modification of this exercise, which is we always take a longer exhale by 1. I mean, we do an inhale for the count of 4, and then do the exhale for the count of 9 and for the count of 10. So this way we expand our lung capacity.
Amazing. Okay, would you like to lead us in a practice of this? Maybe we'll do 5 rounds, 6 rounds or something. I'll let you decide. But if you would like to cue us into that, that would be amazing, Esther.
Okay, we do it in a way that first we do 2 rounds of 4-8, then we do 2 rounds of 4-9, and 4-10, and 4-11, if it's okay. Okay. So you can decide whether through the nose or through the mouth. You do it either way. So let's start it. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I will stop here now because I just felt a bit, maybe for some people it may be a bit hard to do. Just I was watching the faces and I just a bit messed up with it because I feel quite tired, and maybe I just messed up with the counting. Actually, it's I
No,
believe
your
it's,
counting was perfect, Esther. That was beautifully led. Can we maybe
and
just like show how much we appreciate
and
that?
I actually thank you very much. You are very kind. I made a kind of not a mistake, but there was some challenge, because when I lead the breath work and counting, then when I say inhale, it should count 1. Actually, I should say it in inhale 2, 3, 4, rather, because people may be a bit confused. Yeah, but yeah, I am learning it. So
You
yes,
did
and
great,
this is
Esther.
this is my ever first facilitator thing for a group. Yeah, yeah, this was my first breathwork facilitation.
Great job, Esther. Yeah, thank you for bringing that in. That's one of my favorite techniques as well. So I use it when I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't get to sleep. And generally, your inhale is more activating and your exhale is more calming. So by extending your inhale, you're kind of calming down your nervous system. This is one of the techniques that's used in hypnobirthing as well. And one of my training, I mean, I can't speak from experience, obviously being a guy, but one of my trainee facilitators, Hannah, she used this technique during the birth of her 3rd child. And she won't mind me saying this, but she had 2 cesarean sections and was terrified of, or it was doing this technique, she said, that enabled her to give birth naturally for her 3rd child. So it is an extraordinarily powerful technique to do that. I absolutely love that technique. Okay. Fiona, let's put you on the spot. Would you like to do something silly for us?
Oh, something silly. Okay. So a breath in and then just a complete raspberry blowout.
Excellent. I haven't done that since I was a kid, Fiona.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for being, game when I put you on the spot, because I hadn't prepared you to do that at all. So brilliant. But that actually brings us nicely onto another technique, really simple, which is going to be humming on the out breath using our mouths, like this. Now, there is actually a science behind this as well. Nitrous oxide is a bit of a miracle gas, apparently, and it's only been really discovered in the body in the last 20 years. But they found that when you breathe in through your nose, there's various parts in your nose that produce nitrous oxide, and that helps sterilize the air as it comes into your body. When you hum, that also stimulates the same areas in your sinus cavity that produces nitrous oxide, which is one of those amazing gases that has all sorts of physiological benefits in the body. So we had like a one-day workshop on this in January, and the biochemistry on it is a bit mind-boggling, but actually the practice of it is quite good fun, because we're going to hum together. And what we're going to do is I'm going to lead this into an Om, which is a Sanskrit word that we often use to start a practice or end a practice, which is the word of creation. So it also can build really beautifully into something that we create together, a really beautiful sound. So nothing particular, and I'll just cue this as we go along. At one point, I'm going to unmute us all so we can all hear and connect with that beautiful sound that we're going to make together. Okay, so just get yourself somewhere comfortable, and we're going to start off just by inhaling through our nose and exhaling through our mouth. Twice more. Now we're going to turn the exhale into a sigh. So inhale. Now we're going to turn the exhale into a hum with our mouths closed. Three more times, start to bring that hum a bit louder and try and tune in with everyone else. Inhale. Twice more. And bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale fully, and we'll turn the exhale into an om. Twice more. Light in me recognizes the light in you all. Thank you for your practice today. Thank you for coming. We've got about 15-20 minutes left of the workshop. I don't want to just rush off at this point, but if you just committed to staying for an hour, that's fine if you do want to leave. But we've still got time for another couple of breath techniques. Has anyone got something silly to bring for us all? Who would like to step up and do something silly? Okay, I'm going to do something silly. Again, this may not be politically correct these days, but we are going to do, and you can do this as loud as you want, we are going to do a Tarzan. So that's inhale. Which again, actually, that's another really good breath technique, by the way, especially for loosening stuff. Mum, can you remember when you used to do this for me?
Yes, I can. On your back.
Yes, giving me a little sort of little chest massage. Obviously, you can go really hard like Johnny Weissmuller, but you can also just go gently as well. And I know that that's a technique that they use for people with cystic fibrosis as well to help loosen lungs as well. So, Svenja, I can see that you have to go. Thank you for your presence as well. Really lovely having you here as always. Thank you. Okay, does anyone have a breath technique that they would like to share? Lisa, by the way, I've just seen Lisa. I wasn't. Phil has to go as well. Bless you, Phil. Thank you for being here. Lisa, thank you for coming in as well. Let's take a breath with Lisa. Welcome her in. Okay. Does anyone else have a breath technique that they would like to share? Anne, lovely. What would you like to share?
Well, it's a bit of a version on what you've just been doing, actually. But what I do, I'll see if I can. We'll need to stand. Let's see. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Okay. So, what I would do is I would start to tap on my lungs, on my upper chest, around my ribs, breathing in and out, of course. Around my diaphragm.
And what do you think you're doing?
All around my stomach, and then the back of my ribs, loosen the back of my lungs, and then the top of my shoulders for the top of my back of my lungs, and that's a quick version, but I would do all that. That is my technique for, well, smacking shit out of your lungs. It kind of it activates your lungs. It kind of wakes you up, and it's very heating as well.
Lovely. I can really feel that as well, and it brings. I can see it brings blood to your chest as well.
It does. It does.
We need a good name for this technique, Anne.
Well, I swear a lot, so I won't. I'll think of some. Maybe I can only think of something. What can? I can't think of anything. I can only do it today. What do we got? Has anybody got a name for this?
If anyone's got an idea for what we can call this breath, please write it in the chat box. Smack breath.
Yes.
Punch breath.
Yes. The smack breath.
Breath. Lovely.
My bitch up breath.
Any other techniques that people have got? Dawn, you've got another technique.
Hang on. So, yes, you have to stand up.
Okay.
Well, where am I going to put you? Yes. So, it's when we're very, very stressed, we produce a lot of adrenaline. And when you see animals, when they're stressed, they shake their body. So we're going to be shaking our body and making some sounds at the same time. I hope you can see me here.
How long are we going to do this for?
I've got the sunlight. So you start with shaking your knees and feet and letting your body weight go down into your knees and feet. And then you start to shake your arms and shoulders. Really shaking. So this allows any adrenaline or cortisol in your blood to disperse. And it gets you very grounded, so your body weight's falling down. And then we start making some sounds as well. This is a Korean yoga technique, actually. So we go, and spine, you start shaking your spine around, shoulders up. The whole body's shaking. Hands, head. In breath. Sounds on the out breath. And you can do that for a minute or so, as long as you feel it's really good. It's releasing stress and tension and stress hormone.
Amazing, Dawn. Shaking, and you're right. That's what animals do to shake off trauma. and it is a trauma release technique.
But it really gets the energy flowing through your body as well.
It does. Okay, thank you, Dawn. Amazing one. Esther, have you got another one for us? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, it's singing, because singing also improves your breath work or breathing, actually. And when you sing, you open your throat and your vocal cords and everything. You just release a lot of energy, and it's fun. This is a technique by Emily Ray Henderson, actually. And I don't know whether you have heard about Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian technique of, actually, you can sing or you can say the following sentences. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. And this, just if you repeat these or sing these sentences or expressions, then you will feel a kind of releasing, and it's, you just let it roll the way you want. Actually, it's a kind of beautiful self-expression, and it does wonders. And there is a song also, and it will be the fun because I cannot really sing, so I will try to remember the rhythm, and then we will sing it together. So it sounds like this. I'm so sorry, please forgive me, and I love you, and I thank you. I'm so sorry, please. Yeah, unmute everyone, please, and you just let yourself sing. It's not the perfection, it's not about how you can sing, just dare to sing, and we can hear each other's voice. So let's do it. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. I love you and I thank you.
I thank you.
I'm so sorry, please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. And actually you can say, yeah, we can try it in this way also. That we say and before I love you, then the rhythm will be maybe better. So let's try it like this. I'm so sorry, please forgive me, and I love you, and I thank you. I'm so sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and I thank you. Actually, yeah, everyone is a bit, seems to be a bit shy, so on the training we do it in a way that sometimes we unmute everyone or sometimes we mute everyone because everyone is shy, so it's either way is good. But if you do it in front of other people, then it gives that power to you, that you step up, you know, and you drop that kind of self-judgment or also the fear that other people may see you in a way that you don't want to be seen in that way, or you know, and I think it's very important.
It is. So. Can I just see how many people here, put your hands up if you sing regularly? Dawn does. I used to sing a lot more. My elderly aunt, whenever we were doing the washing up together, we would sing. And she passed a year ago, so I really miss that kind of singing with her. But yeah, singers, by the way, obviously they make fantastic, you know, they breathe fantastically.
I will just type it before I forget in the chat box. Sure. The name of this Hawaiian technique, this hopo, it's called
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono, yeah.
That's another great one, actually.
And I will type here also the sentences. It's a kind of releasing and clearing technique. And you can also use it in a way as a part of your meditation, or if you think of someone you are angry with, and then you just say this, and for me actually it works.
Okay. Are you sorry? Are you going to write that down, Esther?
Yeah, I will write down the sentences too for anyone.
Sure. Okay. Whilst you're doing that, then I'm just going to do one. We're going to do one final technique together after this, which is going to be more of a meditation to really become aware and conscious of our breath. And we're going to use this one to finish off this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, depending on wherever you are. And this is it's a breath awareness, it's a breath consciousness. It's really feeling your breath as energy in all parts of your body. And we'll do this as a meditation. So if you'd just like to maybe find somewhere that you can just sit still for 2 or 3 minutes, we won't do it for very, very long. I usually recommend doing this with a straight spine, so sitting up if you can, but if you can't, that's absolutely fine as well. Keeping your head nice and tall. So imagine that there's a piece of string next to your skull just pulling your head up, so that might mean that your head comes down slightly. Now close your eyes and just become aware of your body. Feel where it is in contact with your chair or a bed or a cushion. And be aware of how your body moves as you breathe. Your stomach and your chest and your shoulders as they rise and fall. Now become aware of the breath entering and leaving your nostrils. And as your breath goes inside, let your attention go inside as well. To that still, quiet place within. Now, as you breathe, imagine the air coming into your lungs as a color. As an energy. As you breathe in that color and energy, feel it pooling in your lungs, into every part of your lungs. Into the bottom of your lungs, near your diaphragm, and at the edges in your ribs and at the back near your spine. And then feel it around your heart. The energy, the color pooling there. All the way around to the back of your chest. The more you breathe in, the more energy, the more color you're breathing in. And then feel the top of your lungs, on your shoulders. And the more you breathe in, the more energy and the more color starts to gather in your chest, becoming deeper in color, becoming more vibrant. With each inhale, more colour, more energy. Feel it spread through your body. As you inhale, it comes up your neck, into your skull. As you inhale, it spreads down your arms, into your elbows, to your hands. And down through your stomach, feeling it pooling around your navel and your hips and your pelvis. And down your legs to your knees and your feet. And with each breath, feel that colour and that energy grow, become stronger and more vibrant, until your whole body is glowing with that colour, with that energy. Until you are lighting up the room around you. You are incandescent. And we're going to take 10 more breaths like this before we come back in. So inhale. Five more breaths. Last big inhale. Open your mouth, exhale. Now with your eyes still closed, place your palms together in front of you and gently start to rub them together. Faster and faster until there's heat building up. And then place your palms over your eyes. Nice and warm. Spread your fingers wide. Open your eyes behind your palms and then gently bring your palms down. So the light enters slowly into your vision. Welcome back, everyone. So that was a breathwork meditation, almost a 3-part breath where we breathe into different parts of our lungs. But really that was a full body meditation because we breathed into every part of our body. Now there is a yogic saying, where the mind goes, prana flows. Prana being life force or life energy. And I find it really easy to, really helpful to visualize that as an energy, as a color going around my body. Now, when we do a breath work, we always have a chance to share, just to check in. So if there is anyone who would like to share after that exercise or any other exercise today, just put your hands up or unmute yourself. And please tell us about your experience. And if no one wishes to share, that's fine as well. But we have just a few minutes here. If you would like to share, please go ahead. Vanessa.
Hi, I'd just like to thank everyone for being there. And Benedict, thank you for leading this today. I haven't done this before. I found it really, really helpful. And I feel like I can go into the rest of my day feeling really positive. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And thank you for bringing that, Vanessa. This is a way we have of kind of non-verbally saying, you know, I resonate with that. Thank you for that. Yes, thank you everyone for coming across along today. It means a lot to me. You know, I like to see people breathing more. It's my passion. It's my life's purpose now. So to see more people breathing is just wonderful. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to say before we finish up? Did I see you speaking, Mum?
Yeah, just thank you, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here. It does mean a lot to have you here, Mum. Okay, so to finish off with, I'm just going to pop in the chat box. If you don't know my website address, it's makesomebreathingspace.com. Now on there, I've got lots of online courses. There is the course version of this seminar. So it's got pre-recorded videos and explanations. There's also an option where you can upload your own breathwork technique. And I've just had my first video in from that. I only created this at the weekend, but someone has just given me their first upload. So I'm going to create a page for that. So I would love to see other people collaborating on that course. That's called Breathwork for Lung Health. That's a free course. I've got another free breathwork one called Take a Breath, which goes into some more powerful techniques. I run an online breathing space every Thursday evening at 8:30 p.m. UK time, where we do conscious breath work, which is a bit different and really, really powerful. And then I've got, if you're enjoying breathwork, I've got a deeper course called a Breathwork Foundation, which is a paid course, but it includes live seminars as well, where we go deeper into different breathwork techniques, a bit like this today, but that's a regular weekly thing, and sometimes we have visiting master breathworkers come in to lead stuff as well. So all of that is on the website Make Some Breathing Space. I'm going to hold another one of these breathwork for lung health in a couple of weeks. So please just stay connected, keep in touch. I'd love to see you at some more breathworks on another course. Does anyone else need to say anything else before we finish off today? Okay, well done for the 8 people who managed to stay for the full hour and a half. Amazing, I really appreciate that. I finish off with 3 breaths together to kind of close the energy of this. Thank you, Anne, and thank you, Esther, for saying that. Let's take 3 breaths together. Bless you all. Thank you for coming today. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.